another episode of Sports Night in Auburn. I'm Alexa Johnsen.
And I'm Vince Wolfram. We have a lot in store for you today. The 87th Annual Iron Bowl, Hugh Freeze is Auburn's 31st head coach, volleyball made the NCAA tournament, and much more.
On Saturday, Auburn traveled to Tuscaloosa to compete in the 87th rendition of the Iron Bowl. Here's Colin Beyersdorf on the game.
The Auburn Tigers traveled to Tuscaloosa over the weekend to take on number 8 Alabama in the 87th Annual Iron Bowl. After both teams' first drive stalled out, Auburn marched down the field and got on the board first, thanks to a 24-yard Robbie Ashford scramble. Ashford was active on his legs all day, rushing for 121 yards in the contest. Alabama quickly followed that up with a 52-yard pass from their very own number 9, Bryce Young. Young capped off the drive with a scramble of his own to tie the game at 7 apiece. Young followed that up with a touchdown pass to Jace McClellan to end the first, and on the very next drive, Roydell Williams got in for 6 on his only touch of the day. The Tigers were not going to go down without a fight, though. After driving down the field, Ashford uncorked a 20-yard pass, putting it only where Johnsen could get a hold of it, to make it a 21-14 game. This would be Johnson's only target of the day, but I think it's fair to say he made it count. Bryce Young countered that with back-to-back touchdown passes to end the half, one to Ja'Cory Brooks and the other to Trayshawn Holden. Young went 20 for 30 on the day with 3 touchdown passes and another touchdown on the ground. Bama received the ball to start the second half and picked up right where they left off, marching down the field before McClellan became the 4th member of the Tide offense to score on the ground, making it his 2nd touchdown of the day. Down by 28, Auburn never stopped fighting. Jarquez Hunter broke off a 45-yard run to set up this Robbie Ashford scramble to make that the QB's 3rd touchdown of the night. The defense even stepped up, with Owen Papo getting his first pick of the season in what could be his last game as a Tiger. The pick turned into 3 points thanks to a 39-yarder from Alex McPherson. The final score, 49-27, as the Tigers fall to 5-7 on the season, missing out on bowl eligibility. There's still a chance for Auburn to appear in a bowl game, as not enough teams have finished with 6 wins to fill the 41 bowls. The team will have to wait for December 4th to know if they'll be going bowling. This has been Colin Beyersdorf for Eagle Eye TV.
Hugh Freeze has officially been named Auburn football's 31st head coach. Freeze is coming off 5 seasons as Liberty's head coach, where he finished with an overall 35-15 record. Prior to his tenure at Liberty, he served as the Ole Miss head coach from 2012 to 2016, going 39-25, including 2 wins against Nick Saban and the Tide. In his final year with the Rebels, the football program was hit with numerous recruiting violations, including 4 Level 1 violations. He was given the ultimatum to either resign or be fired for violating the moral cause of his contract. He ultimately chose to resign.
Yesterday during a press conference, Freeze had the chance to address the media and the Auburn family for the first time.
And then with that, I would like to introduce to you Auburn's 31st head football coach, Coach Hugh Freeze.
Thank you very much. Man, what an honor. War Eagle. Every job I've ever taken over has had some type of struggles prior to our arrival, and we've been able to turn them fairly quick. And I look forward to that challenge here with this great staff that we're going to put together and these young men that are going to buy in. But they have to buy into chasing a standard, and you have to set the standard, and we've got to develop that for everybody, find the leaders in the locker room that are going to adhere to that standard and lead us and be the voice in the locker room, the same voice they hear in the team room or they hear from Cadillac. We need the same voices in the locker room, and that's when you start getting something going that's going to be positive for change. I think we can turn it fairly fast with the new world we're in, because I believe with the commitment that's been shown by our fans, boosters, and administration to to invest in things like this that matter in recruiting, and they matter in the NIL on the Victory Fund, and all of that matters today. I called the plays my whole career. I honestly, sitting here today, am contemplating if maybe in the new world of rebuilding the Auburn football team and the work that's going to take to capture the players and recruit, maybe I should get some help in that. And really what kind of spurred it on, truthfully, is some of the text I've gotten. And I've watched them, and I'm like, wow, they're really good at what they do. And when I watch some of their games, I think I could really help them with their red zone, and they could really help us with everything else. That's what matters. Coach Pearl, I don't know if he's here, but Coach Pearl, the job he's done here, I'm going to be just like Bruce Pearl if I can, except for I'm not taking my shirt off because I don't look as good as he does. But this guy is teaching a master class into how to get people to buy into a culture. I knew my first priority was I have to have Cadillac along my side to help me drive the culture of Auburn football. I don't fear much in life, and I don't think our team will either. I believe in the people. It's the Auburn family. This place is special, and there's no other place that I want to be. I believe in Auburn and love it. War Eagle.
As Freeze mentioned, fan favorite Cadillac Williams will not only be staying on the Auburn football staff, but has been promoted to associate head coach and will also keep his role as running backs coach. When we come back, we'll go over men's and women's basketball and volleyball. You're watching Sports Night in Auburn. Welcome back to Sports Night in Auburn.
Bruce Pearl and company took a business trip to Cancun, Mexico to compete in the Cancun Challenge. In the first game, Auburn was matched up against Bradley. The Tigers looked to finally be shooting the ball at an elite level, shooting a season best 56% from the field.
The team also shot season best 47.1% from three and 75% from the free line throw. They did it while spreading the ball around with 5 players, scoring double-digit points.
The championship game against Northwestern was a different story. Both teams struggled to score, with the game ending with a 43-42 Auburn victory. 43 points was the least scored by an Auburn team since 2016. The team was led by KD Johnson's 12 points, 7 of which came from the charity stripe. Jalen Williams followed closely behind with 11. Jay Will's performance, combined with his 11 from the game against Bradley, was enough to earn him the Cancun Challenge MVP. It could be a play on defense that gave the Tigers the tournament win. With 32 seconds in the game, Wendell Green picked the Northwestern guard's pocket before dishing the ball to Allen Flanagan for the game-winning layup. Auburn takes a 1-0 lead in the all-time series against Northwestern.
After their trip, the team returned to Auburn to take on St. Louis. Here's Eagle Eye's Vince Wolfram on the game.
Coming off the Cancun Challenge Championship, Auburn was back home battling St. Louis. Janai Broom got the day started with the spin over the left shoulder and the jam. Auburn jumped out to an 11-4 early lead, mainly due to the work of their defense producing offense. Like right here, Wendell Green Jr. gets a hand on the ball, Cardwell outlets it to him, pull up, tray ball, bang! He was making spectacular plays all night long, so much more to come from him. St. Louis, a hard-nosed team, stayed in it, cutting the Auburn lead with the slip and the dunk there. And at the end of the half, last possession, SLU trying to get one more bucket, but Janai Broom had other plans. Blocking that shot, Auburn led 36-30 at the half. Half number 2 got started with Zep Jasper. Hitting the deep 2 from the top of the key here, he was an important piece in the game, shutting down the electric St. Louis backcourt all game long. With the backcourt lockdown, the front court for St. Louis was going to work. Francis Okuro with the slam there, making the Billikens lead 5 with 4:40 to play. The momentum shifter for Auburn came shortly after. Broom with the stuff off the glass, KD Johnsen the outlet pass for the Flanajam. After that, all Wendell Green Jr. had to do was sink some free throws to put the icing on the cake, and he did exactly that. A hard-fought 5-point win, 65-60 for Auburn. The next contest in the jungle is Friday, 7 p.m. versus Colgate. For Eagle Eye TV, I'm Vince Wolfram.
After the mid-season tournament, the top 25 have had a huge shakeup. We've got a new #1 team in the country in Houston, following North Carolina losing not once, but twice last week. The state of Texas is proving that they're not just about football. Texas stands at 2nd in the poll, while Baylor comes in at 6.
Auburn drops a couple of spots to 15 while staying undefeated. The Tigers are behind 3 SEC foes, Arkansas at 11, Bama at 12, and Tennessee at 13. 2-loss Kentucky continues to fall. They come in at 19 this week to round out the SEC.
As for the biggest movers, Purdue jumped 19 spots to 5th following an 18-point victory over Gonzaga and a 19-point win against the Dukies. On the opposite side of the spectrum, the former #1 team in America, North Carolina, fell 17 spots after falling back-to-back games to Iowa State and a 4-overtime thriller to Alabama.
It has been a whirlwind of a week for the Auburn volleyball team. Last Wednesday, Brent Crouch and the girls traveled to Columbia, South Carolina. Despite the fact that Akasha Anderson, Jackie Barrett, and Kendall Kemp all earned double-doubles, the Tigers narrowly lost the match 3-2.
With a day break in between, the Orange and Blue were back on the court at home and Neville Arena for a 2-game series against the Arkansas Razorbacks, dropping both Friday and Saturday's game 3-0.
Despite the 3-loss week, the Tigers are going dancing. For the second time in program history and the first time since 2010, the Auburn volleyball team has earned a spot in the NCAA Division I volleyball tournament. They will play number 14, Creighton, on Friday at 6:30 Central Time in Omaha, Nebraska. Auburn fans can catch this game on ESPN+.
Make sure to check it out. The women's basketball team spent the week in Sin City, competing at the Las Vegas Invitational. In the first game, the Tigers fell to the 5th-ranked Indiana Hoosiers 98-81. Auburn scored more points than any other team versus the Hoosiers this season, thanks to 22-point games from both Honesty Scott Grayson and Aisha Kolombali. Scott Grayson additionally finished with a team high in rebounds and went 4 for 6 from 3.
The Tigers came back the next day to play Colorado State. Auburn went on to win the game 74-73 thanks to an Honesty Scott Grayson sinking a free throw with 1 second left in the game.
Clutch!
The game was put on a 55-minute delay after an injury to freshman Carissa Richardson. With no medical personnel in venue, the teams had to wait for the paramedics to arrive. Richardson was taken to a local hospital and was later cleared that evening.
When we come back, we'll talk about former Auburn athletes in the pros. You're watching Sports Night in Auburn. Welcome back to Sports Night in Auburn. Affectionately called Flash in his years at Auburn, Anthony Schwartz finally showed off his speed in Sunday's win over the Buccaneers with a 31-yard rushing touchdown on the opening drive. This marks Schwartz's longest run of his career and 2nd NFL touchdown.
Jonathan Jones celebrated his Thanksgiving in the best way possible with an interception. Jones picked off Minnesota's Kirk Cousins and returned it for 55 yards, setting the Patriots up for a field goal. He also tallied up 6 tackles, earning a tackling grade of 80.9.
Colts Braden Smith stepped up and held his own against possibly one of the best pass rushers in the league, TJ Watt. Smith held Watt to just 3 tackles and 1 QB hit.
Jabari Smith had a strong week for the Houston Rockets, averaging 15 points a game. Smith recorded a double-double with a plus-minus of +23 and a win against the Thunder, a team who passed on him in the draft.
Show him who's boss.
Exactly.
Walker Kessler and the Jazz have hit a midseason slump. The team has lost their last 5 games and 8 of their last 10. Kessler's best performance came against the Warriors when he scored 8 points, 4 boards, and 3 blocks. Isaac Okoro got his 4th start of the season in a game that ended in a loss against the Raptors. Okoro put up 13 points off the bench in a game against the Bucks on Friday.
After starting 7 games in a row, Chuma Okeke spent the week inactive due to knee soreness. After spending the past week on the bench, JT Thor has been recalled to the Hornets G League affiliate, the Greensboro Swarm. Speaking of the G League, former Tiger Sharif Cooper has been making a strong case to be called up.
Ballin'.
Through 10 games, the guard has averaged 25.3 points per game with 6.2 assists and 3.7 rebounds. He earned G League Player of the Week following back-to-back 40-point games on November 15th and 17th.
I believe in you, Sharif. I also believe that for more information on Auburn athletics, be sure to check out our website at eagleeyeauburn.com and stay up to date on all things Auburn sports on our Twitter at EETV_sports. I'm Vince Wolfram.
And I'm Alexa Johnson. Thank you so much for watching. Good night, and War Eagle.